Hello, and this is the Manchurian General. Now, I want to get something out of the way. Please don't mind the AC. It's 92 degrees right now where I am, and I don't want to be sweating in the scorching heat. You know what I mean? Fair enough, fair enough. You'd understand too. But anyway, let's get on to this video. So, for the past few days, I've been, I've been doing a little pondering, doing a little thinking, doing a little imagining about stuff I have seen videos of back in the old days, and one of the topics was spiked armor. You played those games. You played, maybe you played For Honor, and you see Warden mains, Conk mains, Raiders, all that jazz, who just lathered in spikes, and that got me thinking. Again, of course, where would the best place to put spikes on a piece of armor? Doesn't matter. Actually no, it actually does matter what kind of armor and where it's placed, of course. And I have one idea of the best place. If you are hell-bent on putting spikes on your armor, I have one suggestion to you of where the best place to put it, and that will be mitten gauntlets, which is a style of gauntlet found around the 15th century, probably at least after 1525. That's the day I'm gonna put on. Somewhere after that, somewhere around that time, that's where the mitten gauntlet came from. It's essentially just it's kind of like the fingered gauntlet, except it's lanes. It's in lanes. There's no individual segmented finger. It's all plain, like a mitten gauntlet, segmented fingers in a way. It's like mainly comprised of, depending on the design, probably like a couple of lanes, like 3 lanes, maybe 5 lanes, maybe 6 lanes, depending on how many there are. But my suggestion is that you put spikes on, one row of spikes on the mitten gauntlet. More specifically on the knuckle, because that plate isn't gonna go under another plate. It's the main plate where all the other plates of the mitten gauntlet are gonna slide under. So it will not interfere with that. Now, what are the benefits of it? Well, essentially, you have a more protective spike gauntlet. No, not gauntlet. Spike knuckles. That's the word. You essentially have a bigger, more glorified spiked knuckle, and there are advantages to that. There are advantages. One, if you were to punch someone with a mitten gauntlet with the spikes on toe, well, it also depends how the spikes are designed, how many there are. In reality, you only really need one to really do the job, but it doesn't hurt to have like 2 or 3. 3's the best. 3 will be the best option, because that's less weight than 4. Well, of course, it also depends on how is it, like hollowed spikes or is it full on spikes. Well, then it's gotta be mostly filled in, or else it'll just crumble on impact, even if it's well tempered, because it's how it's designed. But besides the point, that's where the best spots to put spikes at, because if you put it on the breastplate or tassets or whatever the frick you put else that isn't gauntlet, or like a kneecap, or like the bottom of your shoe, it's gonna do you bad. If you put it on your shoulder, someone attacks you from that side, the weapon's gonna catch it, and it's gonna bring you down with how much force they're gonna put into it. You put it on your breastplate, same problem. You fall down. The spikes are gonna embed themselves into the ground, making it harder for you to get up. And as well, and along with the weight of your kit. Now, the weight of the kit is not that big of a deal. It's still like a relative deal, because you're heavier by many pounds, but it's not that bad. But when you have something like spikes embedded deep into the ground, depending on how long you make them, of course, you gotta make it a harder time for yourself to get out, and more time for your enemy or your opponent to get your ass and either kill you, knock you out and capture you, all that jazz, you're screwed. So my suggestion is that you put on the gauntlet. You can, and also since there's a whole thing of metal, the gauntlet itself, of course, it'll do a lot more damage than bare fist. You clock someone across the face, it's gonna do them in. Add a couple of spikes, you're gonna rip off skin. You're gonna puncture them, pierce through it. And yeah, you uppercut someone, you're gonna freaking do them a hell of a lot more better than just your bare fist alone. Even more if it's just a bare gauntlet. Spikes on knuckles will make it a lot more easier to deal hand-to-hand damage. Assuming you lost your weapon, of course. Weapons-wise, you can pretty much get away with most weaponry. Aside from certain swords with certain types of guards. And it's only really things that have knuckle guards and or I mean like the knuckle guards like you see on things like 16th century side swords, later falchions, later messers, you know, that whole shabazz. Other than that, you're generally fine. Why they didn't do it? Well, they had their reasons, which is people in the past didn't put spikes on their armor because for various reasons. Also, you gotta think about this: you have to transfer all the armor. Assuming you're gonna be out of kit, you're gonna be transporting it. Like, if you have spikes all over yourself, you're gonna ruin your cloak. If you were wearing a cloak, you're gonna bother the people next to you. But if you accidentally bump into them and all that jazz, it's a hindrance. So the less spikes, the better. Even better if you just go for no spikes whatsoever. But we're going under the assumption that you are hell-bent on putting spikes on your armor. And to reiterate the point one more time, the gauntlets, the mitten-style gauntlets are the best option to put spikes on. 3 spikes to be even more specific. And yeah, that's about it. Doing a little Lindy Beige style video because Lindy Beige is one of my favorite YouTubers who delve into this sort of thing. And yeah, this is the Manchurian General. I shall see you in the next one. Whatever the frick that is. And yeah, see ya. Peace out.